chance that you would take a professional bout in the future after Mike, or is that off the table?
It's on it. It's on it. It's been talks. It's been talks. It's possible.
Okay, so not totally against that possibility.
No, not at all. Not at all. But we just don't know.
Both in the prime, I would probably pick Mayweather to win, just like I would probably pick Pacquiao to win, both in the prime.
Ooh, to beat Crawford.
Yeah, I think so.
Prime for prime? Nice.
Yeah. But is Crawford one of the greatest of all time? 100%. There definitely he is.
He's number one right now. Number one. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Floyd Mayweather has revealed his plans for a 2026 comeback, confirming that his first step will be an exhibition bout against Mike Tyson later this year. However, the real surprise came when he disclosed that he is preparing for a professional return, with ongoing talks about a potential sanctioned fight against Terence Crawford. Mayweather stressed that both he and his team are working diligently to finalize his official return to the ring.
Everything is going great. I feel good. Working hard each and every day. And I can't wait for 2026.
When talk of dream matchups in boxing arises, Floyd Mayweather's name is always at the center. Even in retirement, his shadow looms large over the sport, with endless debates about how he would fare against today's champions. Recently, Robert Garcia weighed in on the idea of Mayweather facing Terence Crawford, offering a dose of perspective. He pointed out that while Mayweather's career is filled with unmatched achievements, he never secured undisputed status the way Crawford and Manny Pacquiao did. Yet, despite that distinction, Garcia admitted his respect for Mayweather's skill and presence would still make him favor Floyd in a hypothetical showdown.
Man, he doesn't need it anymore.
With his accomplishments, the only man to ever do 3 weight divisions undisputed, is he now a part of the greatest of all time conversation? And not of this era, but of all time.
Definitely is the greatest, one of the greatest of all times. There's still greats out there. There's still, his era or last era, with the Mayweathers, with the Pacquiaos. I think he's, already accomplished more than Pacquiao was 8 divisions, so we could argue there because Pacquiao was, 8 division is almost impossible, and he did it. Mayweather never became undisputed. He's a 5 division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification, stuff like that. So I think when it comes to accomplishments, I think he's already done more.
Robert Garcia was quick to emphasize the accomplishments that set Terence Crawford apart, noting that Crawford achieved something Mayweather never did, becoming undisputed by unifying every belt in a division. He also mentioned Manny Pacquiao, who earned recognition across multiple weight classes with similar historic feats. In Garcia's view, this is where Mayweather's resume feels incomplete. While Floyd went undefeated, dominated opponents, and built a legendary career, undisputed status always eluded him. Still, Garcia made it clear that this doesn't take away from Mayweather's greatness. Rather, it underlines why Crawford deserves to be seen as one of boxing's most complete fighters. Yet despite acknowledging Crawford's remarkable record, Garcia leaned on his deep experience in the sport to explain why he would still pick Floyd, citing Mayweather's unmatched defense, timing, and ring IQ as a decisive edge.
I'd probably still pick Mayweather. Both in the prime, I would probably pick Mayweather to win, just like I would probably pick Pacquiao to win, both in the prime.
Ooh, to beat Crawford.
Yeah, I think so.
Prime for prime? Nice.
Yeah. But is Crawford one of the greatest of all time? 100%. There definitely he is.
With all that said, what can you ultimately say about what occurred and what we saw Saturday night?
It was a great event, great turnout, 70,000 plus people. Gate was fucking insane from what I understand. That's good for boxing, man. Good for boxing, good for all the younger fighters. All these new things going on. I think it's going to be a positive thing for all the younger fighters.
Addo highlighted that Floyd Mayweather's legacy is defined by 2 equally iconic versions of himself. First, there was Pretty Boy Floyd, the fearless young star who overwhelmed opponents with blistering speed, aggression, and crisp combinations. Then came Money Mayweather, the shrewd businessman, defensive genius, and pay-per-view king who transformed the sport into a global spectacle. Olau described Floyd as a strategist who not only mastered his craft in the ring, but also meticulously built his image, giving each persona its own lasting aura. Pretty boy Floyd earned admiration by taking risks and scoring knockouts, while Money Mayweather drew massive audiences through mind games, technical brilliance, and unprecedented showmanship. Together, these two eras etched a legacy that transcends fighting, cementing Floyd as both a boxing legend and an architect of the sport's modern business model.
I'm sorry. He's a genius. He is a fucking... You know, when I get bored with today's crop of boxers, and Terence, to be fair, has kind of helped me out of my boredom, but sometimes I just go on YouTube and I watch the 24/7s, and then I watch the fight. I'm not joking. I watch the whole fucking episodes, and then I watch the fight. And my guy is a genius. A genius. There will always be an argument, oh, you should have fought that person then. And I get it. I get it, right? It's kind of the argument you can't throw at Muhammad Ali, right? You could throw that argument at Floyd. But dude, unbeaten is unbeaten. Unbeaten is unbeaten. Multi-weight world champion is multi-weight world champion. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen a boxer so like, I'm going to work you out, and then when I work you out, you're done. Shall I repeat that? I'm going to work you out, and when I work you out, you're done. And Floyd had this thing where first 2 rounds, you think, oh, shit, man, this guy's in this fight, and then he works you out. And then he works you out. Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd was better than Money, but Money Floyd had, obviously, the fights, right? In terms of the fights that brought all the eyeballs onto him, Oscar De La Hoya fights. You know what I mean? That Pretty Boy Floyd, look, Diego Corrales is probably the best performance really from Pretty Boy Floyd, right? Corrales, I think, was unbeaten at the time, and look what he did to him. But Money Floyd brought the eyeballs on. That's when he started being controversial. Genius outside the ring in terms of marketing, genius inside the ring in terms of defensively, offensively as well. People don't give him as much credit offensively.
Zab Judah, who once faced Floyd in the ring, openly declared Terence Crawford as the king of this generation. He stressed that every era has its star, and today, that spotlight belongs to Crawford. Judah pointed Canelo Alvarez's past remark that Crawford might even surpass Floyd, noting those words carry real weight. In his view, Crawford's already proven himself by dominating elite opponents across multiple weight classes, showcasing a style so complete that no one has managed to crack it. While respecting Floyd's legendary legacy, Judah made it clear that the present belongs to Crawford, insisting that he deserves recognition as the #1 fighter of this era.
Right now, #1. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What do you think?
He's not lying. He fought him. He should know. How can somebody tell somebody that fought both of these guys, he know.
Yeah.
If anybody would know, Canelo would know.
What do you think's next for both?
I don't know.
Too early? You like to see a rematch?
Not rematch. Rematches will always sound good. But in a rematch, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Matter of fact, in a rematch, I'm predicting stoppage earlier.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, I think so.
Breadman Edwards offered a different perspective, dismissing the idea of a Floyd Mayweather versus Terence Crawford showdown. He argued that the matchup feels unnecessary and forced, as Crawford deserves to enjoy his success without constant comparisons to past legends. Edwards suggested that if Floyd truly wanted a crossover spectacle, a clash with Roy Jones Jr. would be more fitting, given the star power and intrigue it would create. In his view, Crawford is in his prime and should be celebrated for his current accomplishments rather than pulled into fantasy debates. Edwards emphasized that pairing him with Floyd undermines Bud's moment and distracts from the historic weight of his achievements. For him, boxing should stop chasing impossible matchups and allow Crawford to be recognized as a symbol of greatness in his own era.
Obviously, never going to get this fight, unfortunately. Just two different generations. And I'm not necessarily asking you who would win. But if Floyd and Crawford were to cross paths prime for prime, would you just put that as that's 50-50, man? I don't know. Or are you just like, I might still give the edge to Floyd?
Man, I don't really want to compare them right now, Hans, if we seeing everything that's going on with Floyd and Roy. You know what I mean? And, and they competitive guys. Next thing you know, Bud and Floyd to be mad at each other, man, and wanting to fight because people is like putting them against each other. Let's just enjoy the moment. I don't know. It's a close fight. You know, it's things Floyd do better. It's things that Bud do better. But I'd rather not say, because I'm not going to just lie and just say nothing, like, and make up something just to. I got my opinion on, you know, how the fights would go, and, you know, but I think we should just let the man enjoy his great moment. He's a great fighter. And I see a lot of immature stuff, and I don't like the way things is going with Floyd and Roy. They two guys that a lot of the younger guys look up to, and they taking shots at each other in the media because of the who's better and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I just want to see Bud enjoy his moment. And, you know, unfortunately, they didn't fight. You know, they could have made, they kind of two different eras, though. Even though they was fighting at the same time, Floyd kind of was doing his different thing over there with PBC, and Bud's a lot young, about 10 years younger than him. So it didn't happen, and we got to just live with it. You know what I mean?
Sean Porter shared his thoughts on the unusual announcement of Floyd Mayweather facing Mike Tyson, describing it more as a potential street fight than a sanctioned boxing match. He noted the genuine tension between the two, rooted in years of resentment, and suggested that their rivalry could turn personal, pushing the fight beyond pure skill and strategy. Because of this, Porter questioned whether any boxing commission would ever officially approve it. While he admitted the matchup could create massive buzz, he warned it also risked crossing boundaries the sport shouldn't cross. For Porter, the danger of chaos outweighs the spectacle, leaving him doubtful the fight will ever take place in a legitimate ring. Other analysts echoed his concerns, criticizing the growing trend of exhibition bouts featuring legends like Floyd, Tyson, and even Jake Paul, arguing these events prioritize star power over true competition.
You don't see this one coming unless you know the history of these two guys.
Yeah, they don't like each other too much, do they, Sean?
When you look at the history, it's kind of like it makes sense for a street fight. It doesn't make sense for like a in the ring situation. And so it's kind of like, I guess for the second words, crazier things have happened. And then now you have to say, well, no, it doesn't get crazier than this.
Yeah, you're not kidding, right? You know, obviously we watched Mike Sean in November against Jake Paul. I think clearly those guys like each other. Floyd and Mike, not so much. Obviously, there's been some tension there over the years. Do you think they go in there despite the fact that this is an exhibition fight? I mean, do they go in there and do they both try and take each other out?
I don't know what that fight looks like. And, you know, that kind of was my biggest apprehension with coming on with you guys today. It was like, how do you analyze what a fight between Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather could look like, right? So then you think about when Floyd got in the ring with Big Show. We already know, like we know now more than we've ever known before that the WWE is fake. It's kind of like acceptable, but it wouldn't be acceptable in a boxing ring. You know, it wouldn't be acceptable if there becomes some sort of weird antics and things like that. I mean, I guess I'll have to do what I did once before with Mike and Jake, and I'm gonna go on record for saying this doesn't happen.
You think it falls apart sometime before?
This doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know how you can make it make sense. I don't know how you can make this one make sense.
And to your point, they may have it, but if they have it, they haven't said it yet. There's no date for the fight, no location that's been announced. So,
right.
Many critics argued that fans never truly enjoyed Jake Paul's spectacles, questioning why boxing keeps leaning on retired icons instead of showcasing today's active stars. To them, it reflects a weakness in the current generation, where fighters struggle to capture mainstream attention on their own. Analysts caution that if this trend persists, the sport may become overly dependent on nostalgia and lose touch with its foundation of real, competitive boxing.
Stuff like this? No, I didn't like the Jake-Mike fight. I told you guys that. I didn't think Mike should have been fighting then. I don't think he should be fighting now. I don't like the fact that Jake and Gervonta are fighting when Gervonta is a sitting champion. At least these two are retired. But this is an indication, and I've said this over and over, of where boxing is. That this will probably have a ton of intrigue. But it's almost like the WWE rolling out Stone Cold Steve Austin or rest in peace Hulk Hogan whenever they need a big-time pop. And whenever they need to get the crowd energized because their current stars just aren't hitting the same. This is what boxing feels like right now. Boxing feels like Antiques Roadshow. Honestly, this kind of stuff, that's what it feels like. And again, it's the spectacle, it's the entertainment value, and it is the era of the unpredictable, as Mike says there, but it's not good. I can tell you that. It is not good. This is why we need people like Turkey Al-Sheikh, Eddie Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya, hell, Dana White to come into boxing and fix this shit, because stuff like this and Jake and Gervonta is kind of the norm now. Mike says, I still can't believe Floyd really wants to do this. He added, it's going to be detrimental to his health, but he wants to do it, so it's signed and it's happening. It's not even believable to hear Mike talk like that now. Because, yes, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, he'd be right. But we saw Mike struggle to walk into the ring versus Jake. And yeah, Mike was dangerous enough for Jake not engage with him. But Jake not engaging with him just circled and jabbed his way to the ending of an exhibition where both guys get their hand raised, and we all feel like, yeah, that wasn't a fight, because clearly Mike is not the same, and clearly Jake did not want to take that extra step to try to actually put him away.